Womanjika, or welcome to part 2 of our international student webinars. We have helped you get started by ways to make friends and ways that you can get involved. We gave you some insider tips, and now I'm so excited that you're joining me for day 2 as we focus our attentions on setting you up for academic and career success. So, like I was saying yesterday, this is just the start. You're going to delve a lot deeper into this stuff when you go into your O-Week or orientation sessions, your course information sessions, and for undergrads, when you meet your peer mentors real soon. And remember, overall, the one takeaway is ask your questions. Now, remember, we do have a Q&A chat box, and we do want you to be typing your questions in as we go along. Now, remember, I have a team of experts right there waiting to answer your questions. I'm going to hopefully be putting some of them live because I have a jam-packed schedule of special expert guests tonight. They're the people that know how to set you up for academic and career success. And if we don't get to your questions, rest assured our team is going to follow up with each and every one of them. So to give you an idea about tonight, first up, we are going to be looking at setting you up for academic success first. Following that, I will be meeting with some careers specialists, and we're going to talk about what you can do day 1 to start preparing for a brilliant career. Following that, this is where I need you to tune in. Undergrads, stay with us because I know out there you're all thinking about course planning. And so first up, we'll be having a special session just for the undergrads to talk to you about breadth, majors, and even things like doing a concurrent diploma, how you can plan and what to do. For the grads, you could start going away and working on some of those career tips that we gave you in the session before, and we'll welcome you back again at 7:30 for a special grad course planning session. So that's where we wanted to make sure it was tailored to you. But before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we all come together tonight throughout the world. I join you from the lands of the Wurundjeri people, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. And for those of you, you'll be getting familiar with this, and that is the acknowledgement of country. And it's something we're really deep and important to us at the University of Melbourne. It's our way of being able to recognise and acknowledge the deep connection to country of our nation's first people. So that was your second time, and it will be something that you'll get to experience along the way. Well, it happens part 2 right now. I promised you a big session and I'm really excited. We're talking academic success, and there is no better person placed to talk to you tonight about setting you up for success. He is the manager of academic skills. Please welcome Guido. Hi, Guido. It's great to have you here today.
Hi, Zoe. It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Brilliant. Now, not only have I got you on board, I believe you brought some special guests along for me today, and they are the students who actually would have used your services and advice and themselves actually support other students through peer. So I would like to bring to us Charlene. She's a Bachelor of Arts student. Please welcome Charlene. We also have Yutao, who is a Bachelor of Commerce student. And of course, we've got Nicole, who is a Bachelor of Biomedicine student. Welcome. We love having you here tonight. Now, I think everyone is in very good hands. So I'm going to leave it to the experts and hand right over to you now, Guido. Please, we can't wait to hear what you've got to say.
Thanks, Zoe, and welcome everyone. I just saw down there on my screen that we've got over 900 people in here, so this is very exciting. And just before we start, a tiny correction. I think Zoe mixed up your degrees. So Yutao, you're doing a Bachelor of Biomedicine, and Nicole, you're doing a Bachelor of Commerce. That's right, yeah. Okay, so academic skills. Zoe mentioned that there is the service. I'll tell you a little bit about the service and how it might be of use to you. And then we go to the panel and to the students and just talk about what worked for them in their experience at starting at the university, what were the things that they learned, what were the things that they picked up on the way, what were the things I would have liked to know and to start. That's always the big thing, I think, if you're listening to current students that are just a little bit ahead of you, have done a year, two, maybe three, and can think back to that very first semester when they started university and, you know, still have that memory of like, my life would have been so much easier if I just would have known this. So we'll come to that, but I just quickly share my screen and show you a bit about our services and our website in particular. This looks better. Okay, so I recommend just always to Google academic skills. Well, if you're outside of Australia, maybe another site comes up. So just add a Unimap at the end, and that should take you to our website. And really all you need about to know about our services and a lot of resources you can access through this one website. It's all there. There's more information about us and what our service is. Um, there's resources, and then there's a number of other things. I'll just quickly talk about how we support you and what we actually do. So all of our services are free for all students at the university from first year to PhD level, no matter what you're studying. We are there to help you. And we are there to help you to develop, as it says here, your academic skills that you need to be successful at university, but that will also translate into professional skills once you go into the workplace. For example, good communication skills is something that's very important at the university, but obviously that's important in your work and career as well. Similar to team building skills, working with others, managing your time and tasks, etc., etc. So all the skills that you develop during your studies at university will help you in your later career. And what we do to help you develop these skills is we run a number of workshops. So there's a link on the webpage that takes you to the workshops that we offer during the semester. We give one-on-one advice, so you can book an appointment with an advisor and talk about anything that's related to your study skills. So you can talk about your time management, your note-taking, your readings, how you deal with all the demands that are coming towards you in your studies. But a lot of students actually bring a draft of their assignment to an appointment. So we can look at sections of your assignment and we can give you feedback how you might improve that. So it's a very popular service that you might want to make use of. But apart from the workshops and the one-on-one advice, one of the big things that we have is resources for you. And the great thing is you can explore all these resources right now and get started and look at all the topics that we have here. So there is something on essay writing, there's something on developing your writing style, there's something on preparing for exams, reading and note-taking, time management, a lot of different topics. And you can just dive into there and you'll find a number of resources on offer. So they're labeled, some are online learning modules. If you are already enrolled and have a login, a student login, you can access these. If you don't, you can just look at the quick reads or the videos and other downloads that we have. So a lot of them have videos that we have created that you can play. They should play no matter where you are in the world. And there's an example here about how to use a semester planner to plan your semester. So there's a lot of resources for you to explore. I encourage you really just to spend a bit of time browsing, look at the topics you think that might be relevant for you. But remember, you can always come back. The resources are there. As long as you know how to find the website, everything is there at your fingertips. So you can also look for specific resources. So if you want to filter by topics and by the type of resources you want to access, but there's a lot of material there really for you. And we're constantly reviewing it and refreshing it and keeping it up to date so that it's already there for you whenever you need it. Okay, I think this might be the time to stop sharing my screen and open it up to the panel. I might just go around and ask each of you just to say maybe like just a sentence or two about your experience starting university. You want to start, Charlene?
Yeah, sure. I'll be more than happy to. So, hi everyone. As per the introduction, I'm Charlene. I'm currently a second year student majoring in media and communications undergraduate. About me is that actually I had a 1 year cutoff. So basically, this was actually my first semester. So it was definitely very nerve-wracking for me starting university, and especially in such an uncertain situation such as this. But I guess summing it up so far is really to take proactiveness and to take initiative and to really start on things early. I think that really helped. Yeah, I think that would sum up like my experience so far and what I've learned.
Thanks, that's great, Charlene. Nakul, do you want to talk a little about your experience?
Sure. Hi everyone, a very warm welcome and a very happy new year. I'm Nakul Sehgal and I'm currently studying Bachelor's of Commerce, majoring in Economics and Finance. So I came to Melbourne back in 2019 and currently I'm in my third year. So the experience for me was quite different from what I've been experiencing in my home country. And currently I'm located in Delhi, India. So the experience was a bit different because there were many cultures and quite a diverse nation as well. So I think getting around the cultures and the education system would be a difficult one and a challenge for but then again you get a hang of it and then you learn and you success in the end.
Yeah, thanks, Nakul. I think, yeah, there is something that people call culture shock. So it can be a bit different, but it's really, I think, a change for everyone. So it's always the transition. If you come from high school in Australia, it's still a big step to go to university. And if you come from another country, it's obviously an even bigger step. But we have all the support services there that can help you. And if you make connections with the services and with some other students, you're really set up for a good path there, I think. Um, I just might have a quick look if we have got any questions. I can't see any questions right there now, so we might just keep talking for another while. Zoe, sorry.
I've got some questions for you. Yeah. I've got a question coming through to you right now. We have Charlie out there. Hello, Charlie. Thanks for joining us. Charlie would like to know, how did our students manage their academic skills when you were based at home? Because at the moment, we have campuses all over the world, your bedrooms, your studies, your lounge rooms. How did you manage remotely with your academic skills? Great question, Charlie.
I'll let one of you go, and I might just add. So Charlene is in Singapore right now, and Nakul is in Delhi right now. So they're both in this experience of studying remotely and engaging remotely with the university. But I might ask you, Nakul, first, like, how have you been going studying remotely?
I think studying remotely was a challenging task at first because juggling through different time zones was a difficult task to handle, but then again with time you get to get the hang of it, and then again you have university and various services that help for you. So I think also managing about the academic skills, uh, now we have various workshops instead of what just in person meetings, so they are also quite time flexible and you get to book the appointment in the time zone which you are comfortable with. So it's not that you will be able to just pick the time wherever it is possible in Melbourne only. But it's, for example, if you're sitting in India, just like me, 5:30 hours behind Melbourne, I'm still able to book an appointment which suits me and I'm comfortable with. So I think such flexibility has helped me study remotely and helped me be where I am and not become a challenge in between my studies as well.
Great, thanks, Nicole. I might just say for Yutao's knowledge because she lost connection for a moment. We had a question about how you're going with studying remotely and not being able to attend classes. So Nakul just spoke about his experience. I might just ask Charlene, what has been your learning from studying remotely?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'll just go into some things that I've learned. So firstly, I think I tried to focus on the positive parts about studying remotely. That yes, granted that it's a bit of a bummer that we can't be on campus, but I think it was really a great place to be flexible in my own time and schedule. And therefore, I think what really helped was that I had a planner in advance. So with that planner, I was able to plan my time up well. And because I know that studying remotely and all, there can be the issue about motivation and all, especially during the time of a pandemic. So I made sure that I abided by a thing which I personally call the 5-task rule, which I'll just set out like a small list of tasks to be done every day. And once I'm done with that every day, I know that I'm on the right path to my assignments or whatever that I wish to achieve. I would say I also made sure that I was socially exposed as well to various opportunities, for example, like Radio Fodder, and also going for things like Melbourne Peer Supporters. So like the peer supporter sessions were really very useful for me. And also the Leica Award, Leaders in Communities Award, during my free time besides like studying and reading up lecture notes in advance and all. I think that was really extremely useful. I honestly wish I had got to know about academic skills much sooner, because some difficulties that I had were definitely like the nitty-gritty parts of essays, like assignment briefs and all, and techniques of studying, like do I do lecture notes first or recordings first? How do I make sure that I study effectively? And I was really bad with proofreading and citations. So I wish I was like Nakul and I really knew about these academic skills modules and all that sooner, because I think it would have really helped a lot.
Great, thanks, Charlene. Do you want to add anything to this, Yutal?
Yeah, sorry about my laptop issue, by the way. And I would just say pretty much the same, because I have been studying online since March this year. And I would say like all the lecture and tutorial experience has been like very well, because like it's all delivered through Zoom for all my subjects. So I felt like I was able to interact, and it's not very much different from my on-campus experience. But I think the main issue for me was for practicals. They were delivered a bit different because we weren't able to actually go into the pracs. But like because of the short notice, like our lecturers and stuff, they put into like incredible effort into like deliver like into like preparing virtual materials, like virtual practicals, and we actually got more time to actually analyze a lot of the information that we got from the pracs. So I would say like there were advantages and disadvantages. So like, but I think like because it's been a year, so I believe like the uni has done a lot of like work into how to like establish those materials better online. But like in all, I would say like it's not very much different. And right now at this stage, I don't think it matters where you are, because everybody is all studying online. And I think the key for me, like my main advice would be like to navigate all your online resources well, like know how to use Zoom, and like treat your lectures, tutorials, like whether it is online or on campus, like treat it well, like prepare in advance. Like don't just like, because you know you're not gonna get to campus, you just don't get out and you miss it, then that would be a loss at your part. And then like, yeah, just that would be my advice. But in all, I think it has been a good experience.
We have questions coming through thick and fast from our audience all out there in the world. I'm going to come to you, Guido. In fact, because our wonderful tips from our students were very much about, I guess, planning time, and we looked at time zones, use the resources, but there is support still available, whether you're on campus or online. Guido, can you tell us some of the ways that students have been supported while they've been studying online from experts like yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously it was a very quick move going to studying online. We had, I think, 1 week where sort of the semester paused, and then everything was online. So what we tried to do during this week, as much as we could, and then we added to that later, was creating special resources for students about studying remotely. What is different, and what can you do to make it effective? So if you remember, I showed you sort of the different topics that we have in our resource bank. And one of the topics is studying remotely. So There are a lot of resources in there, a lot of them created by students about their experience, but also some by my team who are experts in learning and teaching about what you can do. And a lot of it comes back to some of the topics that some of the panel members mentioned, but it can be challenging if you don't have to be in the lecture theater at 10 a.m. on Thursday morning, and you have a recording that you can watch at any time. It's very easy to sort of let that slip, and you really have to be organized yourself to watch that lecture, give it enough time as you would do if you were in the physical space. But I think for most students, there was a bit of a transition period. But after a little while, students got very much used to it and they know what was working. And if something wasn't working, they can always come to us and talk about it, and we can talk them through things.
Brilliant. And I think staying with you, Guido, and with that same topic, we did talk earlier about the fact to ask for help, and we talked about the culture shock a little earlier. But we know that there is a big transition from coming either to university or for grads to coming to a new university. What advice would you give students who feel a bit shy or a bit anxious about asking for help? And then I might throw the question open to some of our student panelists. But first, what's your advice on that?
Well, the biggest advice is really try to overcome that. It's a colleague of mine always calls it normalizing help-seeking behavior. That sounds very big and pompous, but it is normal. Just it should be normal for everyone. There are so many services available. There's so much support out there, but no one's going to come to you and ask you whether you need support or whether you need help with something. So you need to put your hand up, and as soon as possible, at the earliest point in time when you think something might not be right, even if you're not sure if it's right or not, but if you think, I would like to talk to someone about it, is there something I could do differently? Am I on the right track? Do so. Services are there, everything's free, it's accessible to you. Reach out to your academics, to your tutors, to your lecturers, or use one of the many services that's available. And don't worry if you're ending up in the wrong place. People will help you to get to the right place. So even if you think that might be not a question for academic skills, or that might be not a question for career service, or that might be not a question for course planning, if you don't know where else to go, just ask them. They will help you and put you in contact with the right people.
Brilliant advice. Thank you there. And I want to point out that it's definitely not a weakness to ask for help. It's a smart student who asks for help when they need it. I know I was always asking for help, and it doesn't matter. I've lived in Melbourne my entire life, but university was new to me. And so remember, it's actually a smart student that asks for help. That's
right.
kind of my tip of today. So thank you. I wanted to ask Nicole, actually, anything that you want to add to that, just your advice as a student?
I think I can truly relate to it because I was the same kid that would not ask for help in the few weeks of my university when it started. But then again, assignments came at me, and then I was I got quite a bummer with it. So then I realized that it's high time and I need help. So then came academic skills to my rescue, and I went to a library where we had students just like me and helping other students with the academic writing. And because I'm from India, the education is not inclined towards academic writing, so it was quite new for me. So when I went to the workshop, the drop-in session, it was it was quite insightful for me, and I really got to learn how to go about writing an academic journal or an essay as well. So I think reaching out for help is the best way you can learn at university, whether it be your friends or an academic staff or interns like us. Because I think that's where you learn, and they'll be the one who will correct you, and don't think they would ever judge you. Because that's the biggest, I would say, uh, the biggest wrong thinking of a person, that who would judge me, and they might judge you, and they would think bad of you because you're asking help from them. But that's totally wrong, and I think it's just a taboo nowadays. But yes, if you seek help, people will be more than happy to help you, because I think humanity is above all. So I think just reach out for help. Don't ever feel that you're alone in it, because everyone is challenging is being challenged by various other situations, and everyone is going through it. And yes, they'll be able to help you in one or the other way.
Oh, excellent words. And I saw that Charlene and Yutal were nodding in agreement with you there. One quick one still with you, and then I'm going to throw one final question back to our student panelists. But Nicole, we've had a question from Hamoud out there. Hi, Hamoud, welcome. We'd love to know, how have you dealt with the time difference? Because out of all of our panelists here, you've got the greatest one. I think you're based in Delhi. Tell us what you did to make it a little less painful.
So yes, I am the one, I think, with 5 hours and 30 minutes behind Melbourne. So what I did is that I chose the class timings that were way too early for me. So like I'll give you an example. Right now I'm studying German 1 as a summer intensive, and my class starts at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. So it is basically that I don't sleep and I attend the class till 6:30 a.m. in the morning, and then I sleep. Or what I'll do is I'll take a time which is like around evening in the Melbourne, and that comes around 11 o'clock in Delhi. So I think go to extremes. Either it's too early in Melbourne or it's too late in Melbourne. So you'll be able to stick around it and you'll be able to learn. And also, even if you're not able to understand anything, go back to the recordings, listen to them, and I think you'll be able to crack the subject and score the best you can. And don't worry about it, everyone's there to help, and you have everything recorded. So I think yes, just talking about time zones, just take into consideration where you are and choose the times accordingly, because I think the classes became quite flexible and you have different times where you can choose from. So yes, fill in the timetable according to where you are and just go with it, and don't worry about it, you lace it.
Brilliant. And remember also, your academic staff and tutors are all there. So if you were a bit asleep at 4 in the morning, they'll be happy to help clarify anything or talk through some concepts with you further. So I want to wrap this up now. And remember, those of you posting questions in the Q&A box, we will get to all of them. But I want to ask each of you your number one tip for casting your minds back when you started at the University of Melbourne, your number one tip for a new student starting out for success. And I'm going to throw to you first, Charlene. I'll pop you in the hot seat first.
Wow, number one tip. That is a bit of a tricky question, but I guess I would say simply just, as cliche as it sounds, to trust the process and give yourself time to adjust. I think, as what has been mentioned and emphasized during this whole entire dialogue session, there are many avenues and all that available. And even if sometimes maybe approaching academic skills and all, it might seem daunting and all, which really it shouldn't be the case, because every single time when I book an appointment, I realize that, oh, my questions might seem invalid and all, but it ends up really, really valid and is so well answered. And I end up feeling that really happy about it. But I think it's good to have a trusted community, for example, reaching out to seniors. And in Melbourne, from my understanding, there are also things such as PASS, peer-assisted study sessions. So this would be the number one tip for me. If your subject has it, join a peer-assisted study session. It is so useful. And there'll be a whole bunch of like-minded peers that give you a lot of good advice about things moving forward and all. And it really adds on to all the support and all that is given already. And that really worked out well for me, particularly for one of my weaker subjects.
Really good way to make new friends, and you can do them online and then later when you join us on campus. Thanks, Charlene. Really great advice. Guido, you're up. What's your tip, number one? And I know that must be hard for the manager of academic skills to pick just one.
Well, I think it comes back to what we just talked about before. It's just make use of the services, ask the questions, put your hand up. There's so much on offer, make the most of it. Don't be shy. And as you said, Zoe, very correctly, there's nothing bad about seeking help. It's the smart students that know when they need help and that they reach out and try to get support. So don't hold back, don't be shy. Everyone is friendly, everyone is there to help you. Just go out and put your hands up. So that's really all you need to do, is just saying, I need some help, and people will be helping you happily. That's not the issue. It's just we need you to let us know when you get to that point. So don't hold back. And like I said, there's nothing like a dumb question, and there's nothing like a wrong place to go to. And even if it turns out it wasn't an issue after all, that's fine. If you're not sure, if you're in doubt whether something is happening in the right way or you need some support, ask for help.
Brilliant. So don't hold back. And now, you Tao, don't hold back with your number one tip.
Yeah, I'm a little bit conscious of like our time. So but I do agree with what our panelists has said. And I noticed that in the Q&A box, like a lot of students are pointing out, because we're like orientated towards international students, a lot of people are like asking about the transition, the difference, like whether coming from another place. So I just wanted to add on that, because you might feel like you're new to uni, there's a lot of things that you don't know. There's a lot of differences in studies, in lifestyles. Like when you're worried about those, I would agree with all that said, like go out to help. And like, because we're talking so much about resources, I just want to mention some of the resources I found really helpful. So like if you find anything in your subjects, specific questions that you want to clarify, I would recommend going to like stay up to date with LMS, Canvas, all those things, and look at all your lecturers have told you. And in terms of like learning objectives, like focus on those. And if you have something that's related to like culture shock, blending in, I would recommend going to like a lot of the Stop Blind services, Student Connect, and even Academic Skills has a lot of like language support. Just go onto the uni website and find all those resources, and I think you'll
Brilliant. I think that's fantastic. And we are going to leave it here, but I wanted to go a little longer because we were getting pearls of wisdom from each of you. The one thing that I want everyone out there to remember is this is just a small glimpse into everything. Over the next few weeks, you will delve deeper, whether you're undergrad or postgrad, you will get the expectations of your academics and lectures for every class that you're doing, and you will know very deeply what those things that Utah was talking about, LMS, Canvas, that will all make sense to you. But I think we all agree the takeaway is don't hold back and ask. So could you please thank our incredible academic skills experts today, Guido, Charlene, Nicole, and Utah. Thanks so much for joining me and the world today.